So C is the second lever, the second leverage point that you have in your business that you can use to unlock your earning potential, your capacity, all of that, which is a conversion machine. So, in other words, we're talking about the dirty word sales that most people hate. But the reason most people hate sales, again, when we talk about people who have an expertise-based business, who have a service-based business, who got into the business because they're passionate about their work, they did not get into the business because they're passionate about sales. And many are allergic to sales, hate the idea of sales. It feels smarmy. If I could just do what I do and not have to sell it, that'd be the dream, right? That's the thought, which is, again, why many times we've talked about this before. Many times then people will circle back to getting a job because it's kind of like, I just want to do my work and I don't want to have to constantly sell it. But I got into business because I wanted to be my own boss and I wanted the freedom and I wanted the uncapped earning potential and all of those things that are the reward for business. So anyway, a conversion machine, the reason you need this is because if you are the person who's going around shaking hands with every single person and you're having phone calls with every single potential client to talk about your services and talk about what they need and basically free consultations or exploration calls or sales calls, first of all, that's very time consuming. You basically need to make sure that you're baking into your business enough time to do that if that's how you're going to grow. Second of all, it is demoralizing. I'm just going to call it demoralizing. I know that sounds extreme. But it's like when there's any energy of having to convince, that's demoralizing. And if there's any energy of having to prove yourself, especially if we've talked about when you're a woman entrepreneur and there's already that sort of, am I qualified enough? Am I doing enough? Is it perfect enough to put out there? And then you have to get on a call with somebody and explain to them why what you do is the right fit for them, and then hope they don't haggle with your prices. And if you're trying to do that, plus charge what you know that your work is worth. I have a client who came to me where what she was doing before we started working together is she was having exploration calls. I don't know if that's what she called them. She's awesome. She's awesome at what she does. So she was getting referrals from people. But then even though there were the referrals, she would say, well, let's meet and talk about what you're wanting to accomplish. And then we can, make sure we're a good fit. And so she would spend on the low end half an hour on these calls because she's kind and caring and wants to hear what they have to say, and she wants to make sure that they really understand what they're getting into by working with her and all of that. So she'd have these calls and then they'd decide they want to work together, and ultimately it was for maybe they'd hire her for one session, a couple $100, and maybe they'd hire her for a package of 5 sessions, like $1,000, something like that. But getting on those calls, she's basically giving away, she's already kind of doing the work by being on those calls. And so they're getting all this free, and then maybe they don't do anything, or maybe they, okay, yes. And then they sign up for one session and that's it. That is exhausting. I'm exhausted just talking about it. I'm going to stop this video and take a nap because that was so exhausting. Just talking about it. So what is needed instead is a conversion machine. And so what we're talking about is automating sales. And yes, like sales psychology is involved, buyer psychology is involved, but like what the difference is you create something once and it works for you over and over and over again. So we're talking about some sales and buyer psychology, and we're talking about some technology, and we're talking about the things that may be intimidating or maybe mysterious, or maybe you've done them and they make you barf in your mouth a little bit, or maybe you love it. I don't know. But we're talking about sales funnels, landing pages and the bridge pages. We're talking about the email drip campaigns and all of that. But like, how amazing when those things are working for you. So when you understand deeply who this person is that you serve and what the outcome is that you provide for them, and you can capture that, it's operating like a machine. It's conversion machine. The machine has your back. You build it once, it works for you over and over and over again. No more depleting yourself and exhausting yourself, having all these calls. No more inefficiency, wasting time that could be your earning time to be doing these calls that may or may not translate into anything. It's like you build this machine, and we've got templates for that, and we make it easy for you. I'm a super nerd for operationalizing best practices. We can talk about that a little bit later, but because it can be overwhelming and it can be intimidating. It's like you hear you're supposed to do those things. Oh, I've got to do the funnel and I've got to do blah, blah, blah. And it's overwhelming and that sounds harder, so that's what we do is we make that stuff super, super simple. But when that's in place, you've freed up your time to be doing the work that you want to be doing. And again, you're taking away that opportunity to haggle, or you're taking away that even the temptation to show up in convincing energy, because the system that you've built has got your back and your credibility is built into it. The results you get are built into it. The value that you provide is built into it. So you are not showing up in any kind of needing manner. There's nothing that kills sales more than needing to make the sale, right? So we're eliminating that. We're eliminating the busy work of it, and we're eliminating the heartache of it. And we're eliminating the demoralizing self-esteem crushing part of it. No. And I mean, unless you got into business because you love sales and you're a sales consultant, you probably don't love sales. And sales is something you have to do, not something you like, yeah. But once it starts working, once your conversion machine starts working, you kind of do start to fall in love with sales and you're like, yeah, sales is fun. But it's nice to have that thing that helps you get there instead of you having to push it along. So that is C. That's your second lever, is if you have a conversion machine in your business, instant game changer.